Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I'm Nova, and today we're going to be doing AR, S&D classes. Okay, so I'm basically going to run through 5 different classes that can be used in competitive like S&D. So, you know, GB, CWL, all different really, like anything really, whatever you want to use it in. They're not really pub classes. I will be doing videos on pub classes soon, but these are more for like, just like, you know, competitive play. Okay, so I'll start it off with everyone, but well, basically the most common AR, which is the M8. Okay, so there's quite a lot of, to be fair, there's a lot of ARs you can use. Okay, so you can use the M8, the Shiva, the Manowar, the XR2. To be fair, you can use the HVK as well. I've seen pro players use the HVK as well. I've seen Octane use it a couple of times. ICR, not so much. I mean, I've seen people play it, but I wouldn't recommend it personally. Same with the KN. I wouldn't recommend the KN, the ICR, or the HVK. I wouldn't. If you had to stick to anything, I'd go XR2, Manowar, Shiva, and M8. A lot of teams usually ban out the Shiva, so that's usually taken out of the picture just because it's so strong. If you've got a good shot with it, like, you're going to get the kill like 90% of the time because it's just so dominant. And with rapid fire as well, it's just you delete people off the map, and if you're getting shot out with it, you get deleted off the map. It's just absolutely it's just destruction. So the most common is the M8. The M8 does get banned a lot, and then if you are going for a secondary, I would go for Man of War. Only problem with the Man of War is it's not the best like long range weapon, as it does have a lot of recoil. So if you're trying to battle someone off head glitch when you like from quite far off the map, might not be the best weapon to go for. And that I would go for the XR2 or the M8. But obviously if it's banned, then Manowar probably is the second best choice. XR2 is probably following it. So alright, let's start off with the Manowar. Okay, so there's 2 sites that I personally recommend. That's Reflex and Elo. They're completely like your own opinion. You know, if you prefer Reflex, use Reflex. If you prefer Elo, go Elo. It's literally whatever you like. I personally prefer Reflex for certain situations. So with Elo, I find it a lot more flexible, so I can move around the map and like snap onto people a lot easier. But with Reflex, I feel like my shots are so much more accurate. So I guess it for long range battles, it's more like, you know, I need to be hitting all those shots. Reflexes for me. Whereas Elo is more when I'm maybe in like a hardpoint situation where I'm going to be moving around the map quite a lot. So I guess for S&D, I would use the Reflex site. Okay, so basically I'd say you need three attachments. So the quick draw is probably the most commonly used one. Grip doesn't always actually need to be used. I use grip just because I feel grip is so much more effective. Like, you know, like if you need to get those extra bullets on target, you know, like you can get that kill. Like you might lose that 1 kill in a 1v2 or a 1v1 that could end up winning the round. You know, if it's 5-5 1v1, you need to get you need to get that win. And you're in a long range battle and you're missing a couple of shots, you know, whiffing a couple, then if you had grip, you might have got the kill. So grip, in my opinion, is like, it should be used on most M8 classes. Okay, so this is more of like a basic M8 class. Like this is a really raw M8 class. So this is if you don't really want, you know, anything, like if there's not too much affecting the gameplay, you know, like if the team likes stunning, you know, like, or nading, if it's more of like a basic raw class. And then I'll go on to more like other detailed ones soon. So I would go for Stock as the 3rd attachment, and for me that's a really good M8 class. Okay, so high caliber is usually banned. Same with rapid fire. You don't really, the majority of the time they're banned. If they're not banned though, then I would swap out grip, and I'd probably swap out grip for high caliber rapid fire personally, or quick draw. Stock I think is probably the most common. For me, it's the most needed. Quick draw is very needed, and so is grip, but you know, if you're swapping out for high caliber when you'll be getting in those like fights, like head glitch fights, you'll get, you know, a couple of bullets to the head, you know, maybe even 1 or 2, they're dead. You know, like it gets it done. And rapid fire, obviously, there's not really much to say about that. It just absolutely tears through people. So I would swap if they're both in play. Then I would maybe go for a 4 attachment M8 class and like take off what I'm about to show you, some perks and stuff, and then I'd go for probably grip, high cal, stock, and rapid fire, or maybe swap out grip for quick draw. You know, kind of just I guess I'd just get a feel for the map. All right, so for the secondary, RK5. I never use anything else other than the RK5. I rate the LCAR. I really do think it's a good gun, but overall, I think the RK5 gets it done a bit easier. Yeah, so it's a really powerful weapon. You know, sometimes get the 1 burst. The LCAR can be a little bit, what's the word? I don't know, it's not as strong sometimes, you know. It's more of like an SMG. They nerfed it a while ago. It used to be so powerful, but then they nerfed it. So RK5 for me, no attachments, just leave that. Okay, first attachment, Afterburner. with this, you can either go flak jacket or afterburner. I wouldn't go overclock, to be honest, because afterburner and flak jacket are so important. You know, if you're controlling a certain point with your AR, and like the SMGs just can't push you, and you're not like the AR and like on the other team just really can't get there, they will try and nade you, and you need to have that cover. You know, to know like if you're like dominating. You know, let's say for instance on Stronghold, on Rock Hill, yeah, if you're dominating, you know, from spawn like spawn direction of the hill. And they're like, and they literally can't get in the hill. You know, someone's watching your flank. You're just absolutely tearing. They will try and nade you, and if you go down, they will push your team so hard. Like, and you lose the hill. You know, unless your team makes some big kills, you're gonna have a load of people pushing in at the hill at the same time, and it will not work. So, in my opinion, I think afterburner is the main one, but flak jacket can be really important. Depends on who you're playing. So. Yeah, I'll make a flak jacket class later. So fast hands is the next perk. That's needed. I don't even need to mention anything about that. Everyone knows that needs to be run. Okay, so blast suppress is big because when you're an AR, there's a lot of times where you will be like thrusting. There's a lot of times, you know, jumping and boosting. So I would run that. Tac mask can be used, but I don't really personally. If you're playing in pro play, so people will be like they'll have good minimap coordination. You need. The amount of times I've seen people on the map, you know, for blast suppressor, and that's one us around, you know, or like for instance, even just like in hardpoint, it's one us hardpoints. That is very important. Right, so this is my basic class, really. You know, the RK5 is needed. This is my raw like class, what I use mainly. Okay, so let's copy it over. Okay, so this is like my next class. So literally, I would if they're nading, flak jacket. That's all you need to do. That is literally it. Okay, you don't need to swap anything out or do anything. That in my opinion, that's a good class. The flak jacket is just going to protect you from those certain like nades or semtexes that would pick you off a certain place or even get you off like right at the beginning of an S&D round, which is very important. All right, so yeah, that's basically a good class there. There's not really much I would change, to be honest. All right, so let's copy that over. So the third class, I know that there isn't really too much of a difference between these, but there's not too much you can do with M8s. Like it really does depend on who you're playing more than anything. Okay, so for the next class, I'll take off grip, put stock there. I put stock. So this is if you want to run like some some tacticals or a lethal as well. I would run afterburner, and then this is if you want to if you're playing a good AR role, pushing down like lanes, especially on infection. If you're attacking and you're pushing down B Street, people love to nade down there. 2 trophy systems. That's perfect. You sacrifice a bit of grip for your team, not to get like the enemy team, not to get like a first blood straight off the round. And that's very big. There's so much more they can do with 4 people than you with 3. So that's another good class. That's basically it for that class. Now, if you want to be basically like nading as well, like I just said with the enemy team. Literally bang a frag on, maybe a Semtex, depending on what you want. You can either put a trophy on, like so you can nade back. You can have like that frag, you can have that trophy system, plus you can have a frag, so you can nade back. Which you might get the first pick in that situation unless they're running trophies. So you could go. Semtex is they're very good, but frag in my opinion is just so much better. A Semtex is easier to get away from. A frag is more like, obviously the frag rolls and it moves and it can get closer to the enemy. I would personally go for this. Plus, so trophy, depends on what you're playing. If they're nading, use it. If not, concussion's very good. EMP as well. I wouldn't go for smoke unless you've got a strategy with your team. Where there's maybe like a thermal SVG, maybe sitting at back map. Or towards the back of the lane. I would probably go for a concussion or EMP. Personally, not a flashbang. I wouldn't go for. If these two are banned, then yeah. But usually a concussion and a flashbang get banned. The trophy is very good as well. I would go for a concussion though, and that would literally be the class. Okay, so I'll go for more of like a flexible class now. So let's go on to the flexible class. Okay, so for me personally, long barrel is very important. So if you wanted to, for instance, use long barrel, just like I said earlier, swap out grip. Grip is not as important. But if you want to go for like a heavily set up class, then put another attachment on, put grip on as well. That is a destruction like weapon. That is an absolutely like such a strong class. Like you'd absolutely tear through people. So I would have that, which means the only problem with it is you only have 2 slots left. Okay, so usually when you have more things, like more attachments, you don't really run a secondary because you can basically just like absolutely tear around the map, just move around, absolutely decimating enemies. I would literally just do this. Basically that, or maybe like flak jacket, depending on what you want, and then that'd be your class. That's what I would run personally. That is a very good class. That is just, you're gonna absolutely tear through people. The only problem is, don't get to, like, if you're getting in too close range like combat, obviously you're gonna lose if you don't have like an RK5 or an L-card as your secondary. So try to be more of like this isn't like a very good anchor weapon, because if people are shooting at a range of like a VMP, you're gonna win the gunfight. Even with one of these classes, you're more than likely to win. This just kind of like cements that in a way. Alright, so yeah, like if I go back onto this original class, so if I give you a quick example of one of these classes, so let's go for the Manowar. The XR2 is very similar. The XR2 is basically the same perks, but the Manowar can be very different. I would never not run grip, just because the Manowar is a bit harder to control, and if you want to be getting those key gunfights, winning those key gunfights, sorry, you need grip. I would never get rid of grip. Quick draw, yep, needed. Stock needed. That's basically it. But I would never swap out grip. I would only ever swap out quick draw, and just start pre-aiming a lot of more things instead of running around the map a bit more freely. It kind of just cements you to like pre-aiming a lot more. But you're going to be winning those gunfights, and that grip is really key to winning any gunfight with a Manowar. So I wouldn't trade it. RK5 stay the same. Everything stay the same. That's a good class, and if you want to just do the same features, flak jacket, swap it, if you want to just go flak jacket, or if they're like constantly like concussing you, swap tac mask, they're not as important, you just got to remember that you got to change up your play style in competitive. So if you're running this, then remember that you can't boost as much because they're going to know where you are. I mean, it's different in hardpoint, but in S&D it's quite strict. Alright, so that's basically it for those. Shiva. There's not really too much, honestly, there's not much difference between each weapon. For the Shiva, grip's not as needed, but it can be very important because it tears so much. If you do miss out one shot, obviously because it's a semi-automatic, that can be the difference between you guys winning a round or winning a hill, or getting that dunk with an uplink or capturing that flag. There's a lot of different things. I would personally run grip, but obviously if high count and rapid fire in, swap some of these things out ASAP, get something new in. If you want a class like just M8 and then with long barrel, then basically this is a perfect class. Like this is kind of like this one here, but obviously you're not swapping out perk 3 and a secondary for grip. That's basically the gist of it. But yeah, those are my S&D classes really for without like using an AR. Obviously, I wouldn't run 5 AR classes on one. I would probably run... It's good to have at least 2 AR classes and then maybe like 3 SMGs, if you're more of a hybrid, or if you're a dominant AR, then maybe go for like 4 ARs and 1 SMG. Always have a variation depending, because like the team you're playing might play a lot differently. If they decide to go 4 SMGs, you can't really get anything going with the SMG because you're just getting like, there's such a heavy SMG presence. Swap to this M8, pick them off at range, then it will force the enemy team to change up their gameplay, It's all about changing your game style up to fit the team that you're playing, or if you're dominating, make them change to how you're playing. But remember, then you might have to change every now and again as well. That's basically it. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. In the comment section, give me some feedback on these videos. I'm really enjoying doing YouTube, but obviously I'm just starting. So if I'm doing anything wrong, I need you guys to... basically, just let me know and I'll change my videos up, so they're more enjoyable. But yeah, I'm Nova. Thanks for watching and peace.